A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In order for us to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala our Waqil, the disposer of all our affairs, we must also strive to be in a state of Tafweez. Tafweez is the opposite of Tasleem. The state of Tasleem is when we start the journey of our surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after placing tawakkul or trust in Him. But the surrender takes place when we make a choice, and that choice leads us to acceptance of fate or divine will. The state of Tafweez comes after the state of Tasleem, and in this stage, man is being prepared for the inner submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as opposed to the outer submission that occurs in the state of Tasleem. In Tafweez, man has no choice in the matter. He has committed himself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a way where he requires conviction that he is utterly helpless and is a destitute before Allah's wealth and power. Man feels extremely powerless and dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he places a full surrender to His divine will by putting complete trust in Him, and thus gives himself no choice in the matter. This elevated state of purifying oneself on the journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned in many places in the Quran. Allah responds to the state of Tafweez of the believer, that after he entrusts all his affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah saved that believer from all those evil plots that the people devised against him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also tells Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he is being commanded to sacrifice his life, his death, and everything of his to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and therefore he sallallahu alaihi wasallam has no choice in the matter. People who are blessed to have the state of Tafweez are so strong in their conviction that they would sacrifice their lives only to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without any expectations in return from the Creator or the creation. They do not choose their lives being precious, as the yearning to attain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala far outweighs the value of their own human existence. Allah mentions such a person in the Quran, and among people there is one who would give away his life to seek the pleasure of Allah. It seems to me that the people of Palestine are the prime example of those who wear the shield of Tafweez on them. They are fully aware and have accepted the reality that when they leave their homes in the morning, they might not return back in the evening. They have no choice but to surrender their lives in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whether they live or die is inconsequential to them. The concept of Tafweez also highlights that nothing belongs to us. Indeed, Allah has purchased from the believers their persons and their wealth. In return, has promised them paradise. They fight in the cause of Allah and slay and are slain. Everything belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anyway. So, for the moments, they have no choice in the matter. The Palestinian people are being slain on a daily basis. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has purchased their lives, and hence they welcome martyrdom as they are in a state of Tafweez and complete surrender. Subhanallah. This Ramzan, let us reflect on how far we are from our own state of Tafweez. What do we need to do to get there? Is this why we keep getting upset when things do not pan out our way? Is this the reason we keep failing as we are not strong enough to build our armor of Tafweez around us? Is this why we first look towards the creation and not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help in our desperate times? Let us allow ourselves to at least try to build that armor so that we derive the strength to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala our Waqil in the true sense of the word. If you have liked this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and do share it with your loved ones. The link is in the feed below. Wishing you all a very blessed Ramzan, and may the light of Al-Muzzammil shine upon you and your loved ones, bringing barakah and peace. Ameen.